It's scary how close you already are to abundance, yet most people never see it. They search outside, chasing opportunities, while the real key hides within. In the Shaolin path, prosperity is not a stroke of luck. It is the natural outcome of inner mastery. This is a truth most overlook. Today, I will share with you why wealth is less about numbers and more about discipline, presence, and the power of small rituals. In the monastery, we learn that discipline is not harshness. It is freedom. A few steady practices, repeated with clarity, reshape not only the mind but also the reality you walk in. The outer reflects the inner. Prosperity is held not in the hand but in the heart first. You will hear lessons that are rarely spoken about. Why some people who gain wealth lose it just as quickly. Why craving blocks more than it attracts. Why silence and restraint are far more powerful than endless striving. I will guide you through teachings that monks have lived for centuries, showing how balance, detachment, and mindful attention can open doors no strategy ever could. Stay with me until the end, because each step builds upon the last. The path of mastery is not broken pieces, it is a whole. If you miss the thread, the power of these teachings slips away. But if you listen deeply, you may discover why abundance is not something you chase, it is something you grow into. This is Shaolin Soulfire. If these words speak to you, if you seek strength not only for the body but also for the spirit, I invite you to walk this journey with us. Subscribe now and step into the fire of discipline and the light of mastery. A wandering mind is like water spilled on the ground. It seeps into every crack and disappears. Focus is the vessel that holds your energy. Without it, no practice, no discipline, and no dream can take form. Let me take you into the temple courtyard at dawn. The air is cool, the silence unbroken. A young student begins his training, but his eyes keep shifting, first to the birds overhead, then to the footsteps of others, then to the thought of breakfast. His body repeats the movements, but his spirit is absent. Hours pass, yet nothing is gained. This is how most live their lives, present in body, but scattered in mind. The first step, I tell him, is to notice. Where does your attention wander? Where does it hide when the moment demands your presence? Once you see the path of your thoughts, you gain the chance to guide them. Focus does not mean force. It means choosing again and again to bring your energy back. Every return is a strengthening. When your attention becomes steady, life changes in ways that surprise you. You begin to hear the small signals others miss. A chance conversation becomes an opportunity. A problem reveals a hidden door. What looked like chaos turns into a map. Wealth comes not from chasing endlessly, but from seeing clearly what is already in reach. This is why the monk does not rush. He walks, he breathes, he trains with one thought at a time. His wealth is clarity, and from clarity, abundance flows. The outer world reflects this inner order. And so I remind you, before seeking gold outside, gather the gold of your attention. Where your focus rests, your life follows. Desire is like fire. Left unattended, it spreads wildly, consuming everything in its reach. But when tended carefully, it gives warmth, light, and direction. Mindfulness is the art of watching this fire without fear and without being swallowed by it. A man sits in silence after years of chasing. He once believed that more possessions, more recognition, more promises of tomorrow would quiet his restlessness. Yet the more he gained, the more his hunger grew. In stillness, he begins to see the root of it. Not the objects themselves, but the craving. The endless voice whispering, not enough, not yet, not here. Mindfulness is not about rejecting the world or suppressing desire. It is about tracing the craving back to its source. Watching the thought rise, like smoke curling into the air. Naming it without judgment. And in that simple recognition, a choice appears. You are no longer driven by the urge. You are free to respond with clarity. Ancient teachers said the one who sees clearly does not need to grasp. Abundance arrives not because it was captured, but because space was cleared for it to flow. When the mind is scattered in longing, opportunities pass unnoticed. When the mind is calm, presence sharpens, and the right path reveals itself with ease. Discipline strengthens this practice. Each time you return to the breath, each time you let the craving soften, you polish the mirror of the mind. Slowly, the noise quiets. What remains is stillness, sharp awareness, and an openness where abundance settles naturally. Wealth, then, is not hunted down. It is welcomed. It does not run from those who are steady. It comes to the one who knows how to stand still in the fire of craving without being burned. In the Shaolin tradition, strength without virtue is considered weakness. True power is measured not by how much you take, but by how you stand. This is called Wu De, the martial virtue. It is humility before others, trust in your word and righteousness in your choices. Without it, skill becomes empty. With it, even the smallest act carries weight. There is an old story of a monk who was offered gold for teaching secret techniques. The monk bowed and refused. He said, "If I give my art for greed, it loses its spirit. If I guard it with virtue, it becomes a light that guides beyond me." The gold could have filled his pockets, but virtue filled his life. This is Wu De, the recognition that gain without righteousness leads only to loss. When the heart is grounded in virtue, even the pursuit of wealth changes its shape. Money is no longer only for self-indulgence. It becomes a tool, a means to uplift, to serve, to build. This shift creates alignment with something larger than desire. It aligns with the current of destiny. The disciplined mind understands this balance. To act without humility is to stir chaos. To chase wealth without righteousness is to carry an empty vessel. But when humility softens ambition, when trust guides decisions, and when righteousness frames purpose, wealth flows differently. It no longer arrives as a burden or fleeting prize. It becomes steady, like water filling a deep well. Wu Dei teaches that true abundance is not measured by coins or titles. It is measured by the harmony between inner purpose and outer action. When those are aligned, destiny itself seems to open its doors. Wealth then is not taken, it is given, because the one who receives it has become worthy of holding it. Strength is often mistaken for muscle, for speed, for outward force. Yet the Shaolin path teaches that the deepest strength cannot be seen. It is cultivated within, where breath, body and mind meet in quiet union. This is the essence of Neigong inner work. Picture a student standing still in the training hall. His posture unmoving, his breath slow and deep. From the outside, nothing extraordinary is happening. But within, rivers of energy are being guided, aligned, refined. Each breath roots him deeper, each pause gathers a quiet force. This is not the strength that shouts, it is the strength that endures. Neigong teaches that when the inside is scattered, the outside crumbles. A mind pulled in every direction, a body restless, a spirit uncentered, such a person cannot hold what life offers, no matter how much comes their way. Wealth slips through like sand in open hands, but the one who has trained within is different. Their breath anchors their thoughts, their body obeys the command of stillness, their mind rests steady. This alignment becomes a vessel. Opportunities, challenges, and even prosperity can be carried without spilling over. Inner strength is what allows abundance to be held, not just received. Without it, gain is short-lived. With it, even the weight of great fortune can be borne lightly. The ancients compared this to a tree. Its branches may sway in storms, but its roots run deep into the earth. Neigong is the rooting. Breath by breath, it digs inward until the foundation cannot be shaken. When life brings abundance, such a person does not lose themselves in it. They remain balanced, unscattered, and strong enough to let prosperity grow rather than break them. There is a saying in the temple, the tighter you grasp water, the faster it slips through your fingers. Wealth is much the same. The more you cling in fear of losing it or chase it with desperation, the more it escapes. Detachment does not mean rejecting money or turning away from life's needs. It means loosening the grip, standing steady while the currents of fortune rise and fall. A story is told of a merchant who grew rich by trade, but lived in constant dread. Every coin he earned brought him no peace, only sleepless nights. He locked his gold away, checked it daily, feared thieves, feared loss, feared change. In the end, the wealth he clung to became his prison. By contrast, another man with half as much walked in ease. He worked with honesty, gave with generosity, and trusted the rhythm of gain and loss. Though storms came, he never broke. His heart was light, and abundance never left him. Shaolin wisdom teaches that life is motion. Seasons shift, rivers swell and dry, people come and go. To resist this truth is to fight the natural flow. Detachment is the discipline of acceptance. It is choosing to place value, not only on possessions, but on clarity, virtue, and presence. When the mind is not consumed by fear of poverty or obsession with riches, it can act with precision. Decisions are cleaner, energy is freer, and opportunities are easier to see. True wealth is carried lightly. It does not weigh the spirit down. When you stop clinging, hands are open to receive. When you stop fearing loss, you discover that what truly sustains you cannot be stolen. Detachment is the space where prosperity finds its way, quietly, without force or frenzy. A beginner once asked a master why his practice never seemed to progress. The master poured tea into the student's cup until it overflowed. Startled, the student cried, "It is already full." The master replied, "So is your mind. Until you empty it, nothing new can enter." Zen calls this the beginner's mind. It is the art of meeting each moment as if for the first time, without the burden of assumptions or the weight of yesterday's judgments. Most people move through life repeating old patterns, seeing only what they expect. Because of this, they miss the doors that open quietly before them. Think of the farmer who walks the same field each season. One year, instead of following the usual path, he kneels to study the soil more closely. There he discovers a patch richer than the rest, a place he had ignored for years. By looking again with fresh eyes, he uncovers the chance for greater harvest. This is how opportunities work. They are often hidden in plain sight, waiting for a mind unclouded by routine to notice. Discipline is needed here too. To stay open and curious requires effort. It is easier to fall into habit, to let the mind assume it already knows. The practice is to pause, breathe, and return to presence, even in the familiar. This shift makes the ordinary alive again. Growth and wealth flourish in such a state. Not because luck suddenly changes, but because perception does. A beginner's mind makes room for life to surprise you. And when it does, you are ready to step through the door others have walked past 100 times. This is the fertile ground where new abundance quietly takes root. There is a rhythm to life that cannot be forced. Push too hard against it, and you find yourself weary, drained, and restless. This is why the Shaolin path teaches harmony not as a vague ideal, but as a practical way of living. Body, mind, and reality must move as one, each supporting the other, like three strings tuned to the same note. Consider the river. It does not struggle to carve valleys or to reach the sea. It flows, yielding to stone, bending around obstacles, yet never losing its direction. Over time, the river shapes mountains. This is the power of harmony. When your actions align with your inner state and the moment before you, the effort feels lighter, yet the results endure. Many people chase wealth through relentless striving. They burn themselves out, forcing progress, grasping at every opportunity without balance. Their hands may touch success, but their spirit is too exhausted to hold it. In contrast, the one who moves in harmony knows when to act and when to wait, when to push forward and when to be still. Each decision springs from presence, not frenzy. Discipline is essential here, but not the rigid kind. It is the discipline of listening to the body's signals, to the mind's clarity, and to the natural timing of events. This attunement creates a flow where energy is not wasted. Work becomes focused, choices become clear, and opportunities are met with readiness rather than strain. Wealth flows to those who can hold this balance, not because they chase harder, but because they have become like water, unshaken, adaptable, yet always moving forward. In harmony, abundance does not need to be forced. It arrives as naturally as the river meeting the ocean. A vessel with cracks cannot hold water, no matter how often it is filled. The same is true for the inner life. Energy, focus, and intention leak away through hidden openings within us. The ancients spoke of 5 such leaks: sensual craving, aversion, dullness, restlessness, and doubt. Each one weakens the ability to gather strength and manifest fully. Sensual craving pulls the mind outward. It whispers that satisfaction lies only in the next taste, the next possession, the next touch. Aversion does the opposite. It pushes life away with anger and resistance, refusing to accept what is. Both keep the heart chained, one by desire, the other by rejection. Dullness is the heavy fog that clouds awareness, making the spirit sluggish. Restlessness scatters energy in every direction, chasing endlessly but never arriving. And doubt, the sharpest of the 5, cuts at the root of progress, whispering that the path is pointless, that effort is wasted, that you are not capable. These hindrances are subtle yet powerful. Left unnoticed, they drain the vessel until nothing can be held. But with mindfulness, they are revealed. When craving rises, you see it. When restlessness stirs, you name it. When doubt whispers, you answer with steady breath. Each act of awareness is like sealing a crack, making the container whole again. The discipline here is quiet but constant. To watch without judgment, to guide without force. Slowly, the leaks close, the vessel strengthens. Energy no longer spills away. It gathers, it deepens, it grows. From that fullness, manifestation becomes possible. What once slipped through your fingers now stays with you, because you have become strong enough to hold it. This is the hidden power of sealing the inner vessel. Great change rarely begins with grand gestures. More often, it begins with something small, so small it might seem unimportant. Yet the Shaolin way teaches that a single drop repeated over time carves through stone. Small rituals are those drops. They gather power not through size, but through consistency. A young disciple once asked how to overcome his endless procrastination. He dreamed of mastery but delayed every practice, waiting for the right moment. The master handed him a candle and said, "Each day, light it. Sit until the flame burns steadily. That is all." The disciple thought it trivial, yet he obeyed. In time, the ritual of lighting, sitting, and breathing became a doorway. His restless habits softened, his discipline grew, and action no longer felt heavy. This is the secret of micro steps. 5 minutes of focused breath before work. A short bow of gratitude before beginning the day. A written intention placed where the eyes can see it. Each act may look small, but each one directs the mind, anchors the body, and clears the way forward. Procrastination thrives in overwhelm. The mountain feels too high, so the first step is delayed. Ritual breaks this illusion. With one simple act, the path is opened and energy begins to flow. These small practices are like magnets. They pull you into motion, and momentum carries you where resistance once held you back. Wealth, growth, mastery, they respond to movement, not hesitation. And when that movement is steady, born of ritual, it becomes unstoppable. Over weeks and months, what began as 5 minutes of presence grows into a habit of discipline. From there, opportunities multiply. The smallest rituals become the invisible engine that drives abundance into your life.